So we're going to wrap up with the most in-demand transfer prospect. That's our final category on today's podcast. Alan, we're going to kick off with you on this. It hopefully will be a busy summer for transfers right the way across Europe, not just in the Premier League. So who is your man in demand this summer?
I've gone for Aurélien Tchouaméni of Monaco. Really interesting footballer, 22 years old. 86 tackles made this season in Ligue 1, 262 ball recoveries, 101 interceptions. He's in the top 1% of interceptions across Europe's top 5 leagues. He's already a French international. He's 8 caps for the French national team. They'll probably start for them in Qatar, beside, Kante and Paul Pogba. And he's just a really interesting player, I think it's quite clear he's going to leave Monaco this summer. It seems to be Madrid who are best placed to sign him, alongside Liverpool and PSG. I think at the moment they're saying he'll cost maybe between 60 and 80 million euros. And I think that given the emotional impact of Madrid missing out on Kylian Mbappe this summer to PSG, they need to bring in a big signing. I think he is that signing. I think that signing a direct replacement for Mbappe would be a mistake, because he'd always be the guy they got because they didn't get Mbappe. If that makes sense. I think that given Madrid's squad this season, with Karim Benzema still in top form, Vinicius playing off the left, Rodrigo and Valverde playing on the right, I think you can get away without signing a striker, if that makes sense. Maybe if you do sign one, it will be a backup striker, someone to give Benzema relief, somebody in the mold of, I don't know, maybe Richarlison, as you mentioned, for instance. But I think that, if you bring in Tchouaméni, you're basically buying a midfield for the next decade, because with Camavinga, they're friends personally as well. Obviously, similar ages and stuff, both in the French national team. I think that you're buying a player who could finally deputise for Casemiro in that pivot, really important position that they've not had anybody this season to do that. I mean, they've played Kroos there, they've played Camavinga there, but neither of those are natural sitting players, whereas I think Tchouaméni would. Physically, he's so good, but also he's clean on the ball. He's quite a mature head as well. He's a very, very exciting player. So I think that he'll be the most kind of, maybe in-demand player this summer. Obviously, honor mentions too to, Frankie de Jong seems to be likely to leave Barca this summer, maybe going to Manchester United. I read a report this morning that they're going to offer him £395,000 a week, which would shatter their wage structure more than De Gea, more than Jadon Sancho, more than Rafa Varane, more than Cristiano Ronaldo. I think also, obviously Sadio Mane looks likely to leave for Bayern Munich soon. So there is other transfers there. Jules Koundé, I think, will go to Chelsea, who's coincidentally on holiday with Tchouaméni. They were on holiday together in Miami last week, so I think they probably got up to some fun over there. They're back to the French national team now, but yeah, I think Tchouaméni is a really exciting player. I really like him personally. I'm a big fan of him, and I hope he comes to La Liga from my perspective.
Mo, going to throw it across to you. Your in-demand pick for this summer?
Pedri. No, it's look. I was going to pick Tchouaméni. I think he's sensational. But then I realised it's only going to one of two clubs. He's not going to be in demand in the sense that there's only one of two clubs going to get him. If Liverpool and Real Madrid are in for you, no one else, unless Man City then join that list, no one else is competing, right? Like if you want to, Liverpool are fantastic. They're probably the second best team in the world, or third best team in the world. Man City are the best team in the world, and Real Madrid are Real Madrid. Like, why would you not want to play for Real Madrid? So, this is even Barca. Luka Modric and Isco are Barca fans. They play for Real Madrid, mate. It doesn't matter who you support. You play for Real Madrid. If your answer comes to play for Real Madrid, you do it, right? So, yeah. And I think if he goes to Madrid, that's huge. I think that's immediately not just a replacement for Casemiro, but a replacement for Kroos, because I think this is the thing. If you replace Kroos with Camavinga, you lose a lot of passing. Camavinga's a dribbler and a tackler, but he is not a great passer consistently. Kroos is metronomic, right? Even every knockout round, every game in the knockout round of the Champions League this year, he was above 92% pass completion. He's metronomic. You need that if you're Real Madrid, right? You lose that if you take Kroos out of the team for Camavinga. But if you put Tchouaméni in there instead of Casemiro, then you get it back. Then you get the passing back. And then it's like, okay. And then you could put Casemiro further forward as a centre mid. And frankly, he is a centre mid anyway. He's never really been a true pivot. He's just, he runs, he tackles. He's like Camavinga. He runs, he tackles, he shoots. He's a great, all-round box-to-box midfielder, right? So unleashing Casemiro, which is what would happen if you had Tchouaméni. I mean, yeah. And at Liverpool, I mean, come on. Imagine Tchouaméni, Fabinho, and Thiago as a midfield three. Forget about it. You're not scoring against that team. That's ridiculous. So, and then, Man City, same thing. Tchouaméni, Rodri, and Pep. Whatever. Rodri, and De Bruyne, whatever. Right? But yeah, no. So my in-demand player. Sorry to get back round to it. Darwin Núñez. Darwin. No, look, Tchouaméni's a great shout, man. He's probably the best. He's probably the best. Well, the second best player that's going to move this summer. The best player that's going to move this summer is Robert Lewandowski. But again, he's only going to go to one place. He's going to go to Barcelona, allegedly. He's the only place he wants to go. So you can't really pick him because, again, no one else is going to get him. It's only going to be Barcelona, which is still weird, by the way, that he wants to leave Bayern Munich. But I mean, I suppose if you're 34 and you've got like 2 years of world-class football left in you, why wouldn't you want to go live on a beach, in the beautiful weather, playing for a team full of young players who are hungry to give you the ball? I mean, makes sense to me. So who is in demand? Well, it's Darwin Núñez. Gigantic. I'm not going to say he's good looking because apparently Twitter didn't like that I said he was good looking. They got really upset about that. He's also good at football, Twitter. You can relax, He's not just that he's good looking. He's actually good at football as well. Them weirdos. He's got 1.07 goals per 90 minutes, right, this season. Europe's top 5 leagues plus Portugal. That's level with Lewandowski. It's more, right, level with Lewandowski, who is also top, that's joint top. So he's got 1.67 take-ons per 90 minutes, level more than Lewandowski. 1.34 chances created per 90 minutes, more than Lewandowski. 0.46 big chances created, more than Lewandowski. So per 90 minutes, this guy is keeping pace with / outdoing Lewandowski. Now, of course, Lewandowski plays in the Bundesliga. Darwin Núñez plays in Portugal. Bit different, not quite the same standards of football. But the potential he showed in the Champions League against Liverpool, we all saw it. Really, really good. Jurgen Klopp was a fan. I mean, and yeah, Jurgen Klopp, if you impress Jurgen Klopp, you have to be pretty good, right? Man United linked with him. They need a centre forward badly. Can you imagine Darwin Núñez in that team? Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford. But imagine Bruno Fernandes and Jadon Sancho having Darwin Núñez to pass to. This gigantic, tank of a human being who runs like a flipping, runs like the Flash. Imagine having him to pass to instead of 37-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo. Like that's a considerable upgrade physically. I mean, maybe not in terms of finesse of finishing. Sure, Cristiano's still a lethal poacher, but imagine suddenly it's Darwin Núñez they're passing to. That's a bit better, right? And then now Cristiano now suddenly is, oh, we don't have to mark him. We've got to mark this big guy. Oh, but there he is. And now Cristiano ghosting into space. I remember Cristiano's never done really, really well. This is his best season without an exceptional number 9 this past season. You put him behind it with a number 9, as long as there's a left back to cover him defensively, you could start seeing more out of Cristiano. Who the hell knows? And then, but then also Chelsea are linked with him because Lukaku obviously has been a disaster. So, and they've got their new owners, right? So you cut your losses on Lukaku, you bring Darwin Núñez in. That could be successful. PSG are linked with him, although PSG probably not now that they've kept Mbappe. You'd imagine that. But could Real Madrid go for Darwin Núñez? Put him on the front 3, put him on the right. I mean, he isn't a right winger, but what do Real Madrid care about tactics? You put him on the right put Vinicius on the left, Benzema up front. They'll find a way to make that work, won't they? It's Real Madrid. Any club could go for him. Maybe not Bayern. Well, even Bayern actually, if they sell Lewandowski to Barcelona, maybe they'll go for Darwin Núñez. So any club would be happy to have him. He's a phenomenal player. I think he's really, really special. Twitter, very good looking, very handsome, very good at football too, though. Very, very good at football. Big, bold striker. Like I said, looks like a 90s Serie A striker, which is always the highest compliment you can play a forward. Uruguayan, so he will absolutely die for whatever shirt he puts on.
Exactly.
An absolute warrior. As well, if he has to, he will dive and win you a penalty if he has to, because he's got that fighting spirit in him. And you need that. You need that because sometimes, referees just aren't going to give you something. So you have to be able to con the ref. He'll con the ref. He'll fight the opponent. Very special forward. I think every big club really should be after. I mean, maybe Liverpool, if Sadio Mane goes, Luis Diaz, Mohamed Salah, Darwin Núñez up front. Come on. Every top club should, well, not Man City. They've got the only guy better than him. Man City and PSG maybe not, but everyone else you need a young striker. There's only 2 guys better than him, and unless you're Man City or PSG, go for Darwin.
My pick is maybe a little bit further down the food chain than your suggestions. I'm going for Eintracht Frankfurt's Filip Kostić. For me, looking at him this season, he's a perfect blend of available and affordable going into the summer. Frankfurt are only probably going to demand about 25 million for him. And stats-wise, he's excellent. Just looking at the Bundesliga alone, he's 3rd for expected assists and expected assists per 90. Only Thomas Muller and Christopher Nkunku, who possibly would have been another pick for this category, are above him. He's top for key passes for the last 2 successive seasons. And this is a Frankfurt side that, yes, they were successful in Europe, but they finished 11th. And they've got a left wing back who's top for key passes. He was 4th for passes into the penalty area and 2nd for crosses into the penalty area. He's a chance creation machine. He can muck in and get back and help out with defending. He used to play at left back before moving into a more advanced role. So he does a bit of everything. Spurs probably the strongest links with him. He's more consistent.
Spurs need to get on that. He's perfect.
I think they will. Yeah, I think if Ivan Perisic gets done, he'll be used further forward, and obviously because of his age, he's more of a rotating option. He's more consistent than Sergio Reguilon, and I think he dovetails really well with Dejan Kulusevski on the other side. I know he'd be more advanced. And for Premier League fans thinking about this, he's almost Andy Robertson-esque in his style. That's the best way I can kind of frame him. He likes to burst forward, and it's just delivery after delivery into the box. And if you've got not necessarily a striker that likes to score headers, if you've got a striker that likes to steal into space and score goals and gamble inside the box for all those little chances, he's perfect. And in Son and Kane, if they both stay at Spurs this summer, he'd be perfect because it's just cross after cross after cross after cross. He's absolutely brilliant. And again, he falls into that bracket of you won't break the bank to sign him. If he maybe goes to a slightly higher up team than Spurs, he's not going to be demanding to play every week. I know Frankfurt have got into the Champions League by winning the Europa, but I just think it'd be an ideal signing, versatile, and we've seen a growth in fullbacks where, if I think back to our fullback podcast, he's a bit of a mixture of all. He's a playmaker fullback, he's a freight train, he's an accidental centre forward fullback. He does a bit of everything, and if Spurs can get a deal done, I think he'd be a perfect signing for them.
Yeah, he's very good. He's very good. He'd be cheap as well. Wouldn't be too expensive. Experienced, good head, good leader. Frankfurt were fantastic. If you watch their games against Barcelona and West Ham, Kostić is ridiculously good. Very quick as well. I mean, yeah, that would be if you play wing backs, that's a very smart pickup. Chelsea, Inter. Who else? Obviously Spurs. You play with wing backs, or you want to play with wing backs. That's a smart pickup if you can get Kostić. He's very good.
We are going to put a lid on it for today's podcast. We will still be knocking around over the summer, producing a Squawka Talker podcast. Maybe not as frequently as we have been during the season, but building back to what hopefully will be an incredible 2022-23 campaign. We will be here all the way. So up the top, hit subscribe, and you can get access to the show as soon as it is cooked and ready. Thanks so much for your support this season. It's been a brilliant campaign, and we'll catch you very, very soon.